I graduated top of my class with a master's degree and I was still unemployed. Let me tell you a quick story. I spent 4 years in Malaysia doing my undergrad in business management only to discover that I hated business, only to discover that I didn't want to do business, I didn't want to do supply chain, finance, any of that stuff. I wasn't interested in it. But then I didn't have any other options. My only option was because you have a bachelor, if you want to continue education, you got to do your master's in education. So even though I didn't like it, I still went and did my master's. This time I went to Canada. I completed my master's. I did one semester of my master's of business administration, and I was like, listen, man, I can't do this. I'm not getting into this whole numbers game. I don't like accounting. I don't like finance. So I switched out of my MBA and I went into the Masters of Education program, which was a lot better tailored to me because I love education. I love teaching people. That's what I do here on YouTube now as well. I just have a knack for it. And I feel like when I see other people making progress based on my mentorship, gives me personal fulfillment as well. So there I was. I put all the time in the world. I did so many public speaking workshops while in university. I studied for all of my tests. I presented really well. I had a lot of group presentations. I had weekly submissions. I did all of them really, really well. And I graduated top of my class and I didn't know where to go from there. I had a degree in education, but I didn't want to be a teacher. I didn't want to be a high school teacher. I didn't want to go to preschool and teach, and I wasn't allowed to teach at the university itself because you need higher credentials for that. You need some sort of teaching background as well. So I was kind of stuck in limbo. I was like, I've got a business degree and I've got a degree in education. What am I supposed to do with this? I had no idea. So in hopes of getting a job, I actually moved to a bigger city. I moved to Vancouver here in Canada to find a better job, but I didn't know how to apply to jobs. I didn't know how to sell myself on my resume. I was applying to 20, 30, 40, 50 jobs, and will you believe I didn't get one single call for the first 7 months? Imagine putting 2 years of your time, especially for someone like myself. I didn't go out a lot when I was in university. I sacrificed so much time. I sacrificed so many friends. I had a lot of friends that I had no longer any contact with because I was so focused on doing my extracurricular activities, making sure once I graduated I have a good enough resume so I can get a job. And here I was, having done all of that, having missed out so much in university, still not having a job. Not to mention the thousands and thousands of dollars I had put into not just going and doing my bachelor's degree, but also my master's degree. Now I had invested around $70,000, $80,000 into my education without any job, with nothing to show for it. And especially if my parents are funding all of that education, where is the return on investment? That really sinks your self-esteem. That really makes you feel like you're incompetent. It makes you feel like everything you've done is completely useless, like you don't deserve a good job at all. When I graduated, the job I found was that as a receptionist in a hair salon. When I started this YouTube channel, my first video on here was made while I was working at a hair salon. I was making about $15 an hour, a little bit more than minimum wage. I was working with some extremely, extremely good people. I'm very grateful for them for providing me the opportunity. I was there. I learned a little bit about the business side of things because I was working very closely with the person who owned the salon. Amazing, amazing woman. I loved a lot of the experience I gained there. But for the first month, the second month, the third month, it's okay because you have something bringing in money. But then you start thinking, did I put all this time, money, and energy into my education to graduate top of my class to work at a salon? Or maybe a retail store, or maybe a fast food chain, whatever you might find yourself now? And it was just very bad for my self-esteem. I felt like I didn't value myself. I feel like other people wouldn't respect me for where I'm working. And I felt like all of the sacrifices I had made in university, all of the things that I was doing, all the friends that I was ditching to do these things, it was really backfiring on me. So around the 7, 8 month mark, I finally hit that point where I was like, I can't do this anymore. I went back to graduate for my graduation ceremony and I met a lot of my friends who had also graduated the same year. Many of them had found jobs, other ones had not found jobs, and I found a lot of people who watch my YouTube videos. They were like, Yasir, you must be so successful. You're doing all this YouTube stuff, blah, blah, blah. But deep down, I kind of felt like I was being fake. In reality, I was just working at a salon. I wasn't anyone's idea of success. And it really made me feel not only I wasn't trying to put off the image that I was successful, but other people were assuming I was successful because I was in a bigger city and I had a YouTube channel, a lot of people following me. But the truth is, I just wasn't. And it made me realize, Yasir, you should be doing something more with your life. You should be doing something that you actually deserve. You should be putting all of this education into good use. So I finally decided to research some career mentors, some career coaches, because I didn't know how to look for a job. I didn't know how to make the right resume. I thought I had a great resume. I thought my resume was amazing. I had all the experience on my 6-page resume. I thought it was amazing. So I sent it everywhere, didn't get any calls back. So I decided to really accumulate the last bit of money I had, and it was really hard, and I invested in a career coach. For me, this was a very new thing. I didn't think I needed a career coach at all. I thought, who needs a career coach? You can find a job anywhere. But the truth is, I wasn't finding a job. I was desperate. I really needed some expert help. Now, this career coach did charge me a lot of money, but I worked with her on a weekly basis. We talked about my resume. We talked about the strategy to applying for jobs. We talked about the mistakes I'm making while I'm applying for jobs. And on top of that, she showed me the right way to interview, the right way to apply, so that in the future when I'm looking for jobs, I'll know exactly how to do it. Within 1.5 weeks of working with her, I had 4 job interviews. 4. Not only job interviews, but at places that I had genuinely wanted to work at. I was super interested in working in a higher education environment. I had applied to a lot of universities, and I got a lot of calls back from universities, and the interviews went really well because I had practiced back and forth with my career mentor. Now, those positions didn't work out for me because they had some smaller requirements like needing a vehicle or a certain license that I didn't have. Wasn't feasible for me. So I also ended up opening myself to other jobs, right? I met someone at a gym. Weird place to find a job, huh? He said, I work at a recruiting firm. What we do is we help people find jobs. And it was very ironic for me because just now I was in a position where I wasn't able to find a job. And now I had the possibility of working somewhere where I would be helping other people find jobs. And because I already had a resume that was ready to go, that was tailored to that specific job with the help of my career mentor, I applied, I gave that person my resume. Within a week and a half, I had already got myself a job. So because I worked with a career mentor, within 2 weeks of working with her, I had gotten myself a job. Whereas for 7-8 months trying to apply for myself, it didn't work out. I had wasted 8 months where I could have found a better job for myself, a better paying job, a job that I actually felt I was learning something simply because I used the help of an expert. Now, I know where you're coming from. I've been there. Graduating, or maybe you haven't graduated and you're concerned, I might not find a job. I put so much money into it. Listen, I put my entire life into my extracurricular activities. I put my entire life into my education, and not getting a job for those first few months it was killing me. It was absolutely killing me. And if you can relate to this, let me know in the comments down below. But what I learned is don't be afraid to reach out for help. Don't be afraid to ask the experts. Even if you have to pay for it, that's fine. It'll save you so much time and stress and all of these things. If someone has done something and they know how to do it, enlist their help. Get yourself a job. The game changer for me here was just realizing my self-worth. The game changer was realizing that I shouldn't settle for something that I don't deserve. I deserve better. You need to understand that as well. If you are graduating top of your class and you're not finding a job, realize it's not an easy road. It's not the easiest thing to do. Just go out there and get a job. There are things you can learn about resume writing, about interview skills, about proper job searching techniques. These are things I had no idea about that I learned from my career mentor. And it's one of the best things I've ever invested into. Now, I work as a professional recruiter. Again, my job is to help people find jobs. I've learned the industry in and out. I know all the things I was doing wrong, And now when I see students applying for jobs and making the exact same mistakes I was making, it's my mission to help as many people as possible avoid those mistakes that they're making and find the job that they actually truly enjoy. Find and thrive in the job that they love. That's what I want to do. That's what I want to do with this channel as well. Everything that I have learned from my career mentor, everything I have learned from my job, I want to move it forward on this YouTube channel and help you out as well and help you find a job. So if you find yourself in that same position, don't be afraid to enlist the help of an expert. Don't be afraid to look out and apply beyond your means. Look for as much knowledge as you could possibly find, okay? If you would like to work with me one-on-one, check the email in the description as well. See if you qualify for a free consultation. I'd love to work with you and help you find a job as well. Or if you're making a resume and you want to know what you can do to improve your resume, check out this free PDF I have in the description with the top 10 resume tips that will really help you out. This was my story, how I went from graduating top of my class to finding a job and helping other people find a job as well. If you found this content valuable, if you want to get more information about how to get a job and how to get a job that you actually enjoy, stay tuned to this channel. Make sure to subscribe. I will see you in the next one. Take care.